Well, as you can see, I have all my energy today and I got plenty of sleep and my beard is growing at rapid speed.
So we haven't got to say this in a while, but happy hump day. Hump day, hump day, hump day. All right, so we're going to give you an update of what's going on with the markets, and we got some really good reports here. So let's jump into this first one.
All right.
CoreLogic, how fun.
Yeah, it's not all rosy on the NRE Cafe for the first time in at least a quarter, if not two.
Yeah,
Don.
we just talked with one of the top real estate brokers in our area, and he mentioned that, hey, it's not all rosy. He's seen this picture before when prices are hitting peak and prices are going up faster than people get incomes. We're at a stage now where, look at this report. There's actually some markets where the prices went down month to month.
Okay, so what we've got to talk about here is, look at, obviously San Francisco is screaming at us, right, about what happened here. But the reality is San Francisco had been climbing at an alarming rate for the last 2 years. It was unsustainable.
Right.
We always talk about that. There's an affordability problem. And they've now got a competitor down here in Southern California. We are building a tech center area over by Playa Vista, over that whole Google thing that's happening down here. And that's taking away some of the great jobs from Northern Cal and migrating to Southern Cal.
In fact, I just saw that they have a giant semi with a bunch of beds in it now that you can basically go from one tech center in Southern California to the Northern California tech center and just sleep in the truck on your way up. It's basically a giant like bus.
Talk about a new way to live, for sure.
All right. So, but you saw that Portland. Let's go back to that report real quick. Look at Portland and Seattle, though, smoking hot, almost 12% year over year for Portland and Seattle. So those spots are hot. Los Angeles still hanging in there, just under 7%. Dallas hot, Denver's hot. So there still are some strong markets out there.
Yeah, definitely. Atlanta, Tampa. I mean, there's some great markets out there right now. And remember, you're not looking for 10 and 12 and 15% gains. Anything over 5 is amazing.
Okay, so let's see how new home sales are going. Now, Gino, I want you to explain, because you're going to see that this curve, every year about the same time, cyclically, the sales go up. And you've seen that for the last few years. But you notice this year it's a little flatter. And Gino had a great explanation for that.
Right. So what you've got here, because my first inclination too was going, oh, we're having a flattening of the curve. That's interesting. Is this a sign of change on the horizon? Remember, one report doesn't make a trend. But what we looked at is the stuff that was built in 13 and 14 were projects that were started in 10, 11, and 12 by builders. Those projects were projects that were acquired that were defunct projects in the 7, 8, 9, 10 era. So the lots were already carved out. Everything was already ready. The entitlements, the permits, all of that stuff was done, and all they had to do was build. So it was easy to build, so we had new home inventory. What we might be seeing here is a shortage of new home inventory.
That's right. So it's going to be more at a slower pace. It looks like they learned their lesson from last time when they overbuilt and then created part of this crash.
And let's talk about the reality. It's a decade later. Environmental restraints are becoming more difficult, and very expensive for builders to build.
All right, so how is that affecting rates? Let's look at the chart. Whoa, I have to say, we warned you that we're hitting heavy resistance, meaning, remember, green is good, red is bad. Green means purchasing mortgage-backed securities, which lowers interest rates. And we warned you that we hit one of the top peaks, that red line across the top. We have not been able to break, and it kept bouncing across, and we said, grab those rates while you can.
Well, specifically, I want to call your attention to here. So 5 days ago, we told you, I said, boy, I don't want to be the naysayer, but this picture looks really ugly. And sure enough, we've lost another 50 basis points since then. Still, rates are at unbelievable locations. Historically, it's still amazing. Interest adjusted, tax adjusted, it's still all pretty much free money overall. You're probably seeing, if I had to say, an eighth higher in the last 5 days, a quarter higher in the last 2 weeks.
But still better than it was just the beginning of March. So rates are great. Take advantage. It has been inching its way up. Take advantage of these great rates, whether refinancing, pulling cash out to improve your home, pay off debt, or purchase your next home. You heard right here in the National Real Estate Cafe with Don Getling and Gino Franti.
So don't forget to check us out by going to nrecafe.com, but most importantly, send a text NREC to the number 58885 and check out what's brewing with Don and Gino.